What's up, guys? This is the Board Game Roamer, and I am excited to bring you this unboxing of Western Legends. It's designed by Hervé Lamatre. I'm going to say this wrong, so I apologize. Hervé Lamatre. It's published by Kolossal Games. This is a kind of a sandbox Western. You take on the role of kind of a Western legend, and you can either kind of go the way of the bad and be an outlaw and rob and rustle and steal and things like that, or you can go the way of the good and be a marshal, do the right thing, try to stop the bad guys, arrest the bad guys. There are bandits that you can fight, always fight, and just really cool. Lots of neat things going on here. This was just recently released. This is not, I did not back this Kickstarter-wise, although I remember when it came out and I was like, ooh, I thought about it and I didn't, and then after the fact I regretted it. So I picked up a pre-order, fortunately. I did get the all-in Kickstarter, so it came with both the expansions, which is the Fistful of Extra, which gives you some more items, bandits, what do we got here, characters, some more minis, of course, for the characters, gold cards, story cards, all that kind of stuff. And then this, the good, the bad, and the handsome, are some legendary items and additional character cards. So we'll take a look at all that. The only thing that I do not have here that was part of that were there's poker cards like a specialized deck of poker cards that you use that's got the stuff on it. So that is separate. I probably won't do an unboxing of that. It is on its way. It did not come in this box with everything, which I thought was kind of odd. But I got a ticket back from Kolossal, and they said that it's shipped separately, so I will get it at some point. But I wanted to go ahead and do this unboxing. So let's set this stuff to the side. I've already taken the shrink off everything, but that's it. And let me flip this over so you can kind of see. So you can see here, you have a board. You got the wanted track and outlaw track, story cards you can complete, money cards, attack cards, and you're moving around different places, fighting bandits, doing different things, cattle up here, delivering them, rustling them, fighting people. You got the doctor, you got the general store, the bank that you can hold up. It's just really cool. So let's take a look on the inside. I did read, and I think I can't remember if I read or got an email from them, but you do where they stored some of the stuff in here. People didn't think that they had it when they actually did. So here's the general store. I'll pull this apart here before I get off. But basically, this makes like literally a stand that sits up on the table. That's really cool. The rule book. Shows you how to set everything up, how the turn goes, a lot of text, a lot of text. It does give you, if you don't know poker well, it does give you the poker hands so you know what's best. Mining, I forgot that's something else you can do. It talks about how to do story cards, marshal points, bandits, fighting, items, etc. So a lot of text. Yeah, a lot of text, but that's okay. I think it's really, having watched some playthroughs, it's really not a difficult game. It's really a pretty simple rules wise, and it is sandbox. So it is 2 to 6 players. I think with the 3-player version, if I remember correctly, there is a deck that you can use to kind of, or the 2-player, you can use a deck to make it 3, just to kind of give things a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Make things a little bit more interesting, I guess we'll say. But, yeah, so that is in here. So here's the board. Get it on here. So it's not necessarily a wide board, but it is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Interesting. Not in a bad way. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly cool. I don't have a problem with that. Gotta get some of this out of the way, though. So there's the board. Like I said, you're going to be visiting. Bandits will show up in these different spaces. You can take cattle from either one of these two places and buy them here, and at either place sell them down here at the railroad, and that's kind of like the good guy, the Marshall Point way. Or you can go the wanted track and you can sell them to somebody else. You got the general store, you have the cabaret, a medic, the bank, the sheriff's office. You can go mining for gold. There's a couple of spots for that. So really, really, really cool. The board looks nice. Good big board, plenty of room. It's kind of hard to tell in the playthroughs, and you really honestly can't see it very well in this picture, but trust me when I say that the outlines of the spaces are very much legible once you actually get the board. I was actually kind of worried about that because in all the playthroughs I've been like, I can't really tell. It's good. It's good. You can definitely, you can tell the difference. So you do not have to worry about that, which is awesome. So let's set that aside. And then, of course, we have a whole bunch of baggies. So we'll just set that off to the side. Then we have these rings. This is for your bandits and for your players. For your player colors, there's their cubes that you use for the story cubes. Point markers to go around the scoring track. Gosh, there's a ton of these. And more bags. Lots of bags, lots of bags. Here's the die. Now, this cool thing about these dice, like, these are big, fat, chunky dice. These are not your normal size dice. Like, just to give you an idea, here's the size of a standard D8, which I know is not a D6, but if you know anything about the D8s, you can kind of get a good. It's really, 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 really big. Compared, I like that. Good chunky dice, especially since there's not that many, so that works out quite nicely. Alright, and then of course we have our minis. This is going to have bandits. This is going to have our heroes in it. Then we've got nuggets. So if you mine gold, you get these nuggets. A couple of punch boards for legendary points and cattle tokens, timer, first player token, wound markers, all that sort of stuff. That's cool. Then we've got, it kind of sucks at these, but you got these sheets. It's the player's turn. That's going to be an aid for you. And again, it's got the poker hands on one side, the turn order, what you can do at the different locations, how to do the fight if you win or lose. So that's cool. I've seen that in the playthroughs, everybody's got one of these player aids. Looking at it, it's very, very helpful. Apparently very useful. This is the instructions for putting together the general store piece, which I'll do in a minute so you can see it. Then we have our player boards. There are 6 colors. They're double-sided. I don't think there's really any difference between the sides, honestly. Whipping. Yeah. They're the same on each side, just 6 different colors. So this is where you're going to keep your cards, your weapons, your mounts, the items that you have, money, gold. That's where you're going to keep all that at. So that takes care of that. And then just double check. Oh, okay, here we go. And inside the insert, which is kind of an odd place to put it, but whatever works for you, I suppose, is, and I'm opening the insert up. I'm assuming that this piece right here that actually comes out, I guess that's meant to hold this insert together. So I'm going to leave it like that. Make sure I get all those out. Looks like I do have, in fact, all the cards out. So I get to finagle this back in. Awesome. So here we have money, gold cards. Let's see here. Let me open up these gold cards. Or actually, let me just open all these cards up right quick, and then we'll take a look at them together. Just give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. All right, so I picked out all the cards. You're gonna have 4 or 5, I can't remember now, things of cards. The combination of regular size, kind of standard cards, and then these smaller cards. So what kind of cards are you going to get? Well, you're going to get these player cards for one, right? And this is going to be, this is going to tell you who the players are. You'll pick from these, and then on the back, it's going to tell you where you start. So in this case, for example, we'll start with Annie Oakley. She starts at the Dark Rock General Store with a poker card and a rifle. And then once they get so many points on the track, then they kind of unlock this special ability. So in hers, to start a fight with another player, that player must discard 1 poker card or gain 1 wound. So, and again, they all have different powers. They all start with different places. Like, for example, White Earp starts with $10, 2 poker cards, a revolver, and a marshal point, right? And he can start in a number of different places. Any available bandit hideout. So they're all different. So you'll get that set. Then you have story cards, and there'll be basically 2 stacks of these, and they'll haul anything from something simple like end your turn outside of town, on a location outside of town, to maybe gain 2 or more legendary points from a single action, spend $80 or more in town with a single action. And so what these are going to do, there's going to be shuffled up. You're going to basically have two decks. Cut this in half. You have 2 decks on the board. And as you complete these, on the flip side, it'll have a little bit of flavor text, a story, and it'll say players that contribute to this, they may get money, they may get an item or something like that. You're going to spawn bandits, and then potentially, possibly move the sheriff around the board. And so that is one way, if you're the marshal, to help kind of catch the bad guys, if you will. In addition to you can have the sheriff grab them, so you can kind of use the sheriff to your advantage, where you can continue to get legendary points and stop somebody that's got a whole lot of bandit points. Because on the bandit track, on the marshal track, you go up kind of slowly. You hit a point and you get a couple points, and the next one you get 4 points, the next one you get 6 points. So it's kind of a slower progress on the marshal track, but you get large chunks of points. The bandit track, they stay on a row, and they may only get, like, at the end of their turn, they'll get 1 legendary point, 2 or 3. So it's kind of a little slower burn, but if they are way away and you can't get to them, moving the sheriff is one way to kind of stop that. Also, if you do the 2-player game, you have this deck. It's called the Man in Black, and his cards basically are going to allow him to move around the board, and he's going to spawn bandits. He's going to possibly fight with you. It's just a way in a 2-player game to kind of tighten up the board a little bit and make some things happen on the board that are kind of not in just the 2 of your control, so you both have to do a little bit of planning. There's the attack card deck. So this is basically essentially a full deck, not really a suit, but ace through king. And these are fight cards. So depending on whether you're fighting a player, you would use your own cards, but if you're fighting bandits or the sheriff or something like that, or trying to rob the bank, then you're going to use these cards. Generally, the way these cards work is the higher the value is kind of a benefit to whoever it's being played against, but you would win, whoever, I'm not explaining this right. So let's say, for example, that I'm fighting, I'm going to use this card. So I've got this queen card, right? Pretty good, pretty high card. Let me take, for example, a queen here. It says the other player in this fight draws 1 poker card. So that's actually a pretty good, that gives somebody a free card. King. Let's go with the king example. The other player gains in this fight gains 1 LP. That's a whoever plays this, they're giving the other person an advantage. But they would probably win the duel because it's all based on cards, as opposed to something like this too. The other player in this fight gains 1 wound and loses 1 LP. So it may be more beneficial to give them a point but make them lose a card, or it may be more beneficial to make them lose a legendary point and get a wound. You know, it just changes. But that's this deck. It's going to be shuffled up. You're going to draw from it randomly, depending on who it is and where you are. It could be 2, 3, or 4 of those cards, and then the player to your right or left is going to choose which one to play and use. Then we have our money, $10 and $20 versions. The most you can have in this game is $120 is the max you can carry, and there's different ways to get rid of it, either by buying stuff at the general store or going to the cabaret and basically spending it for legendary points. Each hero has these small cards, which are always so difficult to pick up. Each hero has 4 story cards, 4 gold cards, and so you're going to get some number of these at the beginning of the game, and this is going to get you, I believe, legendary point, 1 or 2 legendary points if you complete your goal. So you can have that. That gives you something kind of work towards. You got all your items for the general market, general store: mats, miner's mat, provisions, 10-gallon hat, whiskey, mule, Mustang, revolvers, shotguns, rifles. The cool thing, though, so most of them, they're all like this. They have some value. You go to the general store, you buy them. Some of them on the back, though, and some of these are not like that. So part of them are just straight up items. But the mule, the Mustang, the revolver, the rifle, the shotgun, on the back side, they're actually worth legendary points, which is the mechanism that you're using to beat, to win in the game, and it goes towards final scoring if you upgrade them. But the cool thing is, even though there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, 6 shotguns, 6 shotguns, all 6 shotguns have a different name. In this case, Badger, Bow, Whoop, Boomstick, Long Tom, Loudmouth, and Mercy. And I'm looking to see. Yeah, it doesn't change the power, it looks like, but they all do have a different name, which I thought was pretty cool. But they're worth legendary points, so you can actually upgrade some of these items for in-game scoring too. And the movement, whether you choose the mule or the Mustang, can let you move around the board much quicker as well. So that's cool. Also, you have poker cards, and these poker cards are used for a ton of stuff. So it's a regular deck, right, with a couple of joker cards, but each card, in addition to its normal, for instance, this is a 2 of spades, it may also have a reaction or an action or a bonus. So you can play this card as an action. So saddle up, for example, move to any town space. So I can be at the far end of the map and be able to straight to town. Reaction, after I finish my movement, I can get 2 more spaces. So those are things that you can do, that you can use these cards for, other than just fighting and playing poker. For different things. There's, like I said, bonus. If this card's playing a game of poker, choose one. Lady Luck, so you get some money, or another poker card or whatever. So those are another way for you to be able to do things that you normally enhance what you do, or be able to do something that you might not be able to do even on your off turn, perhaps. But at least at a minimum, possibly even a reaction to something somebody else does. So I believe that is everything that is in the core box. Let me throw the general store together just because it's really cool and I want you guys to see it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, this is the assembled box. This is cardboard, thicker cardboard. Comes in these, like you saw, those little sheets. So here's all the things for it. Took it out. It's okay. It's I mean, I think it's cool because it does hold the cards well. So for example, get these out. So what you'll do is you'll take, for example, you'll take the mule, right, and you'll put it over here in this stall, maybe pull the Mustang over here in this stall. Then we'll put all the weapons, different weapons over here. And there. Right, so there's some rifles, some revolvers, miner's mat, provisions, 10-gallon hat, and the whiskey. And there's a few more, a little bit more room in there, but you can see those kind of sit in there. Of course, they're gonna fall out. It's sitting like this, but they'll sit in there, and then you can just pull one out. Right. So pretty neat. I mean, it's a cool idea. Like I said, cardboard wise, it takes a little bit of finagling to get it together, but it seems like it fits okay. Well, it doesn't take a whole lot to make it unfit. In the box, it will sit down here in the box, and you can see it is kind of flush. So at least for now, my plan is to leave it like that in the box and handle it that way. All right, so next up, let's look at the Fistful of Extras. This is an expansion. This has some character cards, golden story cards, some more minis, a couple poker cards, some bandit cards. It's got several things in here, so let's take a look and see what it is, what we got here. Alright, so here's some cards. Oh, here's some more items. I guess this is why, huh? Gosh, it's like they knew what they were going to do. So here's, what is this? A workhorse. You carry one additional cattle token. Okay. Well, that's cool. So we'll go ahead and put it in the thing. Then we got the Peacekeeper. That's a gun. We'll put it in here. And then we have Holster. After cards revealed in a fight, you may discard any number of cards to decrease the value of a card played again. Oh, that's neat. So that actually fills up. Let's see here. Legendary items. Other than legendary items, that actually fills up the general store rack. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. Of course, we have, looks like, rules for the expansions. Yeah. Joker cards go in there. Legendary tokens go in this bag to pull out. And that's cool. So we'll definitely put that in there. Then we have some additional heroes. Now what's interesting is, and I made this mistake earlier, I thought that what came in the original box, well, these were all individual and matched each. For instance, Pearl Heart. In the original, there was a particular mini for that. That is not the case. I was incorrect in that. So there's just several minis, and they don't all match. You just pick, because you'll notice in this it says 6 bandit cards, 6 character cards, 6 player minis. So there's 6 more player minis, but realistically what you have to do, you just pick them out and then you put bandits. But there's these bandit tokens too, these sticker sheet. So we've got Pearl Heart, Awesome Dart, Buffalo Bill Cody, Belle Star, Batten Masterson, and Alan Pinkerton are new characters, new heroes, and of course in here are some more minis for them. Trash that out. Whoop. Just kind of give you Now these kind of look like they're tailored. Maybe the other ones are. There's just some of those that they must have been added as stretch goals, and they didn't include minis for. I guess maybe like that looks like Pearl Heart right there. So maybe they are actually. Maybe they do actually match. It's just really hard to tell. I'd almost want to like label them on the bottom if that was the case. Once I figure out who's who, for sure. Let me look here. Joker cards. Here's a bandit card. Player of his rank must apply the corresponding to the bottom of the bandit mini bases. Okay, so. Okay, so here we go. Sweet. So, here's the bandits. Fugitive, gambler, robber, bandito, horse thief. And then each one of those from here gets one of these stickers that came in with it. So that's what that's for. I'd seen that in playthroughs, and I was wondering how that worked. So we will actually have, we'll be able to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put these in this bag for now. Oops. The legendary tokens, that is actually these. So these will go in this little bag and you draw from it. So that's cool. We have more story cards. And then we have a few more cards here. So these are bandit cards. So I guess you draw these to determine where the bandits go and what kind of bandit goes there, I guess. I don't know. So here's a handful more story cards. We've seen those before. Couple poker cards. These are the jokers. Then we have, of course, our hero cards for the new heroes. And then we have these bandit cards. So depending on who you pull, there looks like there's, let's see, each bandit card has one of the 4 pots. Shuffle the 6 bandit cards. After enter players play, reveal the top card of the bandit deck. Consult the number on the bottom of the bandit. The result of the bandit card is relevant to which bandit the player is fighting. After we follow the symbols for a bandit fight. So this just basically, instead of fighting a bandit normally, this is kind of a little bit extra for the bandits. I like that. It makes them all a little bit more unique. That's cool. I'm good with that. That is Fistful of extras. So we got a little bit extra of everything. So let me put these away and then we'll open up the final expansion in just 1 minute. Alright, next up, the final expansion, the good, the bad, and the handsome. This has 3 character cards, 12 legendary items, 16 story cards, 12 gold cards. So basically this good, the bad, the handsome are heroes, additional character cards, and you'll notice there are no minis with this. But we have additional character cards and some item cards. Yeah. So this adds story cards that provide legendary items. So there's some, there's lightning. So there's these legendary items that I guess go in. Let's see here. Oh, they don't have a value. Yeah. They're just extras. And then, of course, we have Judge Roy Bean, Joaquin Marietta, and Butch Cassidy. And by the way, just as a kind of an aside, all of these people, and I think this was pretty cool of Kolossal, all these people, heroes, right, that you're playing, they're legitimate, actual people that existed. And the stories on their cards are, in fact, their stories, right? So it's not just fluff text they made up. They did a little, some research on this, which I think is pretty cool. It would have been very easy just to make something up, write some generic things up. And this is like apparently really hard for me. Shouldn't be. To make generic things up, and I just, you know, they took some time and did it extra, did a little, made it a little bit nicer, kept it a little classier. So here's some fight cards. Now the cool thing is, let's see. Here's the example. So this particular fight card, initiate a fight, they get to pick one of those legendary items. Gain one random legendary item, one mount or weapon at no cost. So these story cards, oh, that's not story cards. These story cards are ways to get those items, those really, really powerful items. So that's cool. That's cool. I like that. And then of course here's Butch Cassidy. And again on the back, I think I've already said this, but if I didn't, it tells your starting, but up here is their bio right on the top. So they all have their bios about what they did, what they were known for, etc., etc. So I think that's pretty cool. And I believe, yep, that's all that was there. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Western Legends with the 2 expansions, the Good, the Bad, and the Handsome, which is the one we just opened, and one we opened just before this, the Fistful of Extras. Again, this is by Kolossal Games. I recommend you check this out. I have not played it yet, but I have seen several playthroughs, and I really, really liked what I saw, which is what made me really excited about this. And so, yeah, definitely you guys check it out. In the meantime, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. I'm the Board Game Roamer, and I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next video. Bye, guys.